Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the live stream. Today we are going to do a yoga flow. Now, I'm not titling it Vinyasa because it's not going to be as movement or upper pace oriented as what I would consider my type of Vinyasa. But we will do a lot of movement and we will be getting the circulation going through the body. So whether we're actually moving through a pose or holding a pose that builds some strength, we're always working on that circulation. We're getting blood flow charged to all these little nooks and crannies throughout the system. And we're focusing on the breath. So again, when we're static in a pose, we're still flowing, inhale and exhale. So we'll focus on the flow of practice and consider the word flow. It's not yoga movement. Movement could be all kinds of things that's not necessarily fluid. Do you get what I'm saying? So we're going to emphasize moving smoothly, not just moving around. So anyhow, and smooth movement takes a while to develop if you haven't done that yet. So if you're newer to trying on working on the flow, then be patient with yourself. Do your best, but also understand that it's going to take a while to flow like someone who gets paid to teach yoga, for instance. All right, very happy to have you here in the live stream or checking out this video in the future as a download. So let's go ahead and begin with very simple flow where we roll out the joints, breathe, and stand tall. We're rolling the shoulders. This is a really good joint roll because so many of us hold some tension in the neck and shoulders and upper back. Both directions. And we're going to lift the arms and twist gently side to side. This is called the palm tree vinyasa. So very good for building a little bit of strength in the back, circulation. And come back to center. Next is painting the house, where we drape the fingers down. We're breathing in, the arms come up. And then pushing through the palms, coming on down. And again, breathing in, arms up. Legs are rooted, the spine is stable, the breath is flowing. And at the top of the lift, we're going to weave the fingers, push up, and then bend and extend several times. And arms relax. Let's go ahead and roll the wrists. Do both directions. And then rolling the hips. And let's do a few rounds each way. Switching to the knees. And doing both directions. Very good. And then lengthening the legs. Stand tall. Arms up. And hands to heart. Feet go a little bit wider. The hands can stay to heart. The feet are parallel. Take a little bit of a chair. You can bend the knees a little bit if you have sore knees. If it doesn't hurt your joints, go low. If you want, keep the hands to heart or have the arms out or lift the arms up. And come back to standing. Now we'll do half sun salutes. If your hamstrings are tight, go wide with the feet. Hip distance are a little wider. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Bending the knees might be helpful. Flat back. Stand on up. We're going to do a total of 5. Fold down, a little bend in the knees, especially if you're standing up, might be helpful. We'll do 3 more. Fluid breath. Nice smooth motions. Yeah, arms relax. Standing. Feet parallel, lift the arms, now lift the heels. Draw in the abs. And then heels down, fold over the legs. Hands forward, walk back to downward dog. And knees down. Let's roll the spine. And take a few little bows. We can hug the arms in. And now alternating one roll with one bow. One roll with one bow. Couple more. Very good. And take a nice child's pose. Rest and breathe. Deep breath with a nice slow exhale. So you're really bringing a lot of energy into the body with the inhale, giving yourself a solid release with the exhale. And then inhale, come back to the hands and knees again, and we're going to press the ribs side to side. And then press the ribs to the right, pause for a bit. And then start to round the back and bring the hips to neutral and just hold the rounded back, tuck the chin, push through the palms, see if you can round a little more. Pause for a bit, keep breathing. And then press to the left, pause for a bit. And then start to lengthen the spine And bring the hips back to neutral. We're going to turn the hands to face each other and take a couple bows. The elbows in line with the wrists and the shoulders. And one bow with a roll, and the hands in a different position. And then alternating one bow, one roll. One bow, one roll. Tap down all parts of the hands. So the index mound may tend to lift up, but when your hands are completely down, you need to stretch the wrists a little more. You're going to activate your chest muscles a little more. When you're ready, face the hands forward, release to face down, 8-part bow. And the hips release, toes back. And inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale again, baby cobra. Continue. We'll segue to locust, where we start lifting the legs now and repeating. And then taking rounds of cobra rolls, where you tuck the chin and roll up, lead with the heart, come on down. Feet stay grounded, and the elbows are a little bit bent. Just lift to the height that feels good on your back. Don't overdo any one part of your back. Try and work a stretch into the mid-spine, not just the low back. Eventually cobra, when your spine becomes flexible enough, you feel an openness in your chest. When you're newer to cobra, that may not feel like it's happening, but with time it will. You feel very open in the heart. When the heart feels more open, you feel more free to be generous with the donations, of which there's a link for in the description below this video. And when we're done with the cobra rolls, we'll switch to a downward dog. Push into the hips, head down, hips high. And knees down. If your wrists are sore, try having them a little forward of your shoulders. Not a lot, but just a little. That goes a long ways. Lift the knees. Now we're going to put more pressure on the hands and feet and tone up the core. This is called the levitated cat. And exhale, release. Now let's take a very relaxed child. It may feel really good to fold your arms under your head and you just let go completely. Coming on up to sitting or kneeling. Big step forward with the right foot. Runner's lunge. Have the knee and the ankle in line. Lift the chest. Take a half Hanuman. Come back to runner. Take a twist to the right, hand on the right knee, twist. Come back to runner. Let's switch the sides. Bring the left foot up. And the knee and the ankle in line. Okay, that's nice form there. Lift the chest. Take a half Hanuman when you're ready. So you hinge back. If your hamstring's really tight, you could leave the knee bent. But if you can straighten the leg and work on flattening out the back, that's nice. Half Hanuman. Back to runner. And nice twist to the left. Shoulders open. They tend to kind of tense around the neck a lot in a lot of different poses. So we're always kind of trying not to do that. back to center. Switch to the hands and knees. Lower. And then bring the hands low. You could lift a cobra, but otherwise bring the hands low, lift it up dog. The thighs lift. And you draw in the core, exhale, down dog. Tilt the pelvis, lift the hips high. And plank position. Top of a push-up, again, shoulders above the wrists or the wrists a little bit more forward. Moving the right hand a little forward can be helpful for doing this side plank. So we're going to lift the left arm, go up and do a kickstand or knee down, and then come on down and switch sides. Side planks, very good for the core. Stay concentrated. Move slowly back to a normal plank. And then knees down and lower all the way. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Bring the hands low. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward dog. And knees down. Turn. And walk or lightly hop the feet apart. And then sway side to side. You bend one knee and the other. And continue. It's nice, relaxing yet deeply effective hip opening flow. When you start to get more flexible, you bend a little bit more. You can move slow. You can feel your muscles really contract. It's actually strengthening, even though it's not like a really blatant strengthening movement like doing a vinyasa push-up. You're done with both sides. Bend both knees 3 times. You feel it's really good work into the hips. We're breathing and moving. And come back to center. And a big bend of the knees. Come on up. And opening up the right foot. Turn the back foot in, spreading the toes. Open the arms, warrior 2. And then lengthen the leg and bend the knee 3 times. So 2 more. And hold. Let's go ahead and switch sides. Really open that left foot and turn the back foot in. You don't have to feel rushed through getting the footing. Spread the toes. Warrior 2. And then lengthen and bend 3 times. And then take a breath. And switch sides. Warrior 2. Reverse warrior. You can do neutral lift or stretch back if it feels good. Side angle. You can do elbow on the thigh or hand to ground, whatever is working for you. And then come back up, hands to prayer. Stretch the wrists as you settle back into a sustained warrior 2. Keep the knee opening, the hips level, breathing, broad chest, long arms. Modify if you need. Otherwise, stay steady in the pose. Yeah, relax. Switch back to the other side. Return that back foot in. Really open that left foot. Spread all the toes. The hips are leveling. Warrior 2. Neutral lift or reverse warrior. Side angle. You can do this form, but otherwise a deeper form for a breath or 2. Then come on up, hands to heart, stretch the wrist. Now hold a little bit. Leveling those hips will give you a great stretch in the back leg as well as the front. We're breathing. And come on back to the center form, centering the feet, hinge down. Bending the left leg, and then the right, just one time each. And then spin to the right. Runner, either hands down, hold the thigh, or extend the arms up. With all the form of the centered hips and the knee form, toes facing just right. All that form is there, the body lifting. If lifting the body makes you lose the form, do an easier variation, but go deeper with the form. And then hands down, spin back to a pyramid, bend the left knee once, the right once. Come back to center, spin to the other leg, and then either, pretty much, I would advise you to do what you did before. So hopefully you didn't do an advanced modification that you can't do on both sides. So you can come up like this or arms up. So if you have a strong side and you do the stronger form on your strong side, and you have an injured side or weak side, and you do the easy form on that, then you're perpetuating the imbalance. The stronger side gets stronger, the less strong side stays even less strong. So I know it takes discipline, it's hard, but you have to, if you modify one side, you modify both sides. Does that make sense? Good, glad we had that talk. Come back to center, spin, then the right leg, then the left. Come back to center, and then 3 times bending the knees. This time we'll add a spinal roll. So we'll lift the chest, and then when the legs lengthen round, then the knees lift the chest, legs lengthen round. Then the knees lift the chest, legs lengthen, neutral spine. Little bend in the knees and come on up. And we're going to set up for a goddess plie flow. So if your hips are tight, you can shorten it in. If your legs are long and your hips are open, you might not need to do that. But maybe shorten in the stance a little bit. Turn the toes out and then bend the knees with the knees and the feet facing the same direction. And we'll repeat that a few times. You can use the hands to help the groin and the knees widen. And then bend and either hold with the hands on knees or push on the hips if you have a little bit of sciatica or sacrum pain. Otherwise, the arms come up. And we're holding and breathing. Very good. Come on up and relax the arms. Slowly bring the feet a little closer together. Stand at the top of the mat, feet parallel. And we've got a little bit more juice left in the thighs, so do a little bit of a chair. Or if it's feeling good, do a really deep chair. Shoulders are sort of plugged. Eventually the arms can lift, but they can stay facing forward as well. The arms to lengthen while you keep a little bit of that shoulder plug. And plank. And then 3 times lower the knees in slow motion, lift them up. You need to rest, of course, you could rest, otherwise a couple more knee lowers. Knees lower, and release. And inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower. Place the left arm under the head, stretch the right thigh, half frog. Deep breath. release, and then stretch the other side. Deep breath. And release. Hands in place. Inhale, cobra. See how that feels. Hold a little bit. Exhale, lower. Use the core and lift. Come back to plank. Firm thighs, flat or rounded back. And then knees down. And let's go ahead and sit with the toes tucked under. Now, you may need to sit on a big cushion. You may need to do an alternate seat, but otherwise we're going to sit and stretch the toes for a couple of breaths. It's also stretching out through the thighs. We should feel nice and loose in the thighs, having given that big release, doing the face down half frog. Next is downward dog. And then walk or jump to the top of the mat or to the hands, to the non-mat if you're not using one. Half lift and fold. Straight back lift, maybe bend the knees, come on up. Arms up and arms down. And now we're going to do a thigh stretch, holding on to something. So, sorry if I'm being blocked by this amazing white light that is my aura, or the light coming from the mountains in the window. I'm going to hold the wall, stretch the right quad, and though holding the wall makes it much easier, there's still an element of balance. We can refine the alignment of the stretch. So the knees tend to want to be sort of off balance, but if we keep them hugging into each other in the same plane, the heel working to the glute, and the glutes working down as the abs work towards the low back, and we're going to deepen the stretch. So in a way it's easier because we're holding the wall, but because it's easier, we can make it more intense. Next, we're going to switch to sides. So again, like I said, the knees might sort of go out or have kind of different placement forward, but try and hug them in, abs in, glutes down, deep release into the quadricep. The deeper you get that tailbone to tuck, you feel it in the hip flexor a bit too, even though the main thing is the kind of the middle and front of the thigh. If you have really tight thighs, then you'll notice when you do these thigh stretches, your back bends feel a little bit more free and loose. Tightness in the thighs and hip flexors can make your low back feel really stiff, actually. You're breathing and refining. And when we're all done, we're going to release. I'll step away from the light. And then do a tree. You can do tree with the foot on the calf, not pressing into the side of the knee. I wouldn't recommend, but maybe with the heel kind of deep up in the hip. You got the tree, the knees opening. The hips may tend to kind of tighten in, but we want to open. So this knee works away, this hip works away, and you can hold lower body. You can do prayer or arms lift. You can also hold on to something like the wall. If the deep length of the arms is hard on you, you could do like a bent arm position if that's easier on your neck or shoulders. For me, that works because then I keep my entire body in frame, which is good. And then switching sides. So we may stumble a little bit in these. That's okay. The more we practice, the more we breathe, the more we be balanced. The more we are balanced, I should say. Okay, easy tree, deeper tree if you can. The heel digs into the muscle. It's like a pressure point massage. We're working these two parts away. You can hold, you can pray, you can bring the arms up. You can have lengthened arms or partial lengthened, kind of like the walk like an Egyptian sort of thing for those who remember the 80s. Balance comes and goes. Do our best. A couple more breaths. Very good. And now we're going to do one more thigh stretch. So hold the wall if you want. We learned that already. Otherwise, we're going to do an advanced variation. So we kick the foot into the hand. See how my heel is against my glute? We're going to keep that the whole time. So there's a form of bending down and like flaring the back leg called dancer. But that's not what we're focused on. We've got the heel into the glute. Either hold the wall, stay neutral, or lean down and use your fingertips. Maybe put a slight bend in your knee and your thigh lifts, but the heel stays tucked in. So you're not flaring the foot, but you are lifting the thigh until it's parallel to ground. A lot of people keep their knee down, but you want to lift the thigh and keep the heel tucked back. Now we're stretching the front thigh of the right leg and the back thigh of the front leg, or the left leg, I should say. And put a little bend in the knee, come on up. If you want to work on balance, hands on hips, right knee up, point the foot, extend just for a moment and release. Always welcome to skip that extra little balance flow. And we stretch the other side. Start with the basics. Stay there the whole time if you want, especially if that's what you just did. Otherwise, if you're ready for a little bit of balance, a little bit of a deeper stretch, we're lifting the thigh, but keeping the heel tucked into the glute. So we're not flaring the thigh like a dancer. This is a different pose. Deep breath. Very steady, steady eye gaze. Very good. And a little bend in the leg and coming on up. Balance comes and go. Do your best. Stretch the thigh a little bit more. And release. Next is a squat pose. So we're going to take wide feet and carefully squat. If you need to squat on a block, stack of books, or do an upside down squat, like a happy baby or a wall squat, you're welcome to do that for the next few breaths or so. We're nice and prepared here. We've warmed up the hips. We stretched out the thighs. You may feel the ankles are a little tight. Sometimes a blanket under the heels helps with that. And slowly sit down. Sitting bones back. Widen the legs. And we've got a nice straddle now. As the body warms up, I like to push my hands and lift my hips and then scoot forward. And my feet kind of stay, with the carpet it works really well. The feet kind of stay stuck in the same place, and then I'm pushing my hips forward and my straddle gets wider. I'm feeling this good opening and like a challenge in my hips, but I'm like enjoying it. You know, I can breathe and stay calm. If you're starting to tense up on the inside, panic a little bit, lose your breath, even just because you're getting the opening that looks like it's better, it's not. And if you're not, you know, good on the outside has to be good on the inside for it to be all good. Otherwise, it's not good. Does that make sense? Are we good? Okay, we're good. So let's take a palm tree stretch to either leg. Doesn't really matter so long as we're breathing. and other leg. So this is good. We're getting the hips and hamstrings flexible. We're also working on the lateral bends in the spine. Sometimes we neglect those and spend a lot of time strengthening the core. Which, when you do like side planks, you strengthen the core, but also these lateral muscles, which can get really tight. It's good for them to be strong, but it's also good to be flexible. And when we're done with both sides, we're going to do a stretch to the shin. So just hold the shin. Maybe you can hold one foot, and then maybe you can hold the other foot. And other side. And holding the shin, and holding the foot. And come back to center. And we're going to bring the legs a little closer, massage the inner and outer thigh, and do a little joint roll. Keep lifting the chest. We'll do both legs. Excellent. And now we're ready to sit cross-legged, maybe adjusting the calf muscle, which helps you to get a little deeper. It helps with the knee too. Left sitting bone back, arms up, abs in, twist to that side. Nice deep twist, shoulders back, nice deep breath. Very good. Let's go ahead and switch legs. Sitting bones back. Sit tall, arms up, abs in, and then twist to the left. Come back to center. Sit cross-legged, maybe sit on a blanket or a block. If you have, relax the arms, sit tall. Let's just close the eyes for about a minute and breathe, very smooth. And release. Come back to center. Legs out in front, sitting bones back, and then we'll take Dandasana. So you could just work on having a really strong straight spine and push the fingertips down on the ground. Otherwise, the arms come up, the abs and the small ribs are in. You're opening the chest, armpits, shoulders, but not up in the shoulders, sort of traps down, arms up, if that makes sense. Active legs and feet. The pose is simple, but the pose is very active. To do it doesn't take much. To do it really, really well actually is very advanced. And then we're going to hinge and keep lengthening the spine relatively and then stretch. And a little bit of a dissolving in the spine is fine. Just don't be excessively rounded like a big heap. Emphasize the lengthening through the sternum. The toes are kind of drawing back towards you, especially on the little toe side. They tend to the feet tend to twist, kind of even them out, and enjoy that equal stretching through your calves and Achilles. Breathe. Very good. Release from that stretch. Let's bend the knees. Have the knees high. You can hold the ground with the legs. Otherwise, the arms out. Point the toes. Extend the legs. Lift the chest. And lower. Just hover. Look at the toes. And release completely. And breathe. Bend the legs in. Keep the feet parallel. Inhale, bridge. You can just lift to a partial bridge or lift high and expand the chest if that's working for you. Come on down. Feet together, open the knees, butterfly. Stretching and relaxing here. This is almost like a reclined meditation. The butterfly pose is a hip opening alternative for Shavasana. So you're always welcome to do this for your 5-10 minutes at the end if you'd like. Otherwise, doing a solid minute or so. Very nice for the hips. A lot of the stretches we've done today take a little bit of strength and focus and energy. This one takes a lot less than others. That's why this is an ideal pose to do on a day where you have very little energy to give. You can do it in bed even. The sheets and blankets will weigh down the knees and deepen the stretch. One pose a day is a lot more than none. Just remember that when you're wanting to grab a stretch or two here and there, a deep breath or two here and there. It all adds up. Knees lift, knees to chest. And then spider pose. Typically, spider would have flexed feet. It's causing my foot to brush the wall. And so pointing it's kind of working better for me. Getting deep into the hips, both works really. So play around with things. Try not to be rigid in the mind as to how things need to be, especially when you have certain circumstance, limited space, body issues, etc., etc. And release the feet to the ground. Take a twist of your choice. It could be basic twist or something more like an eagle or jackknife position where the right shoulder stays down and you're twisting over to the left with the legs. You may tend to kind of flex up on the bottom glute, but try and release all through the glutes. It's a great stretch for the hips as well as the spine. And other side. And when you're nice and even, we'll come back to center. One more knees to chest. And then we're going to do a leg inversion. So if you want to put your hands under your hips or block under the hips, that can work out great. You can have nothing under the hips too, but otherwise we bend the knees in, point the toes, and extend the legs for a few deep breaths. Keep the neck long, the shoulders a little bit down. The core works here a little bit. This is the last little bit of effort as we gain the benefits of the inversion in the legs. We have a little bit more effort holding it, and then taking our Shavasana, where we release all effort. Experience this full release of the body. And when you're done, put the legs down. Range the arms how you like. Take Shavasana. We've experienced the body a lot, as well as the breath, mind, emotions as well. Now we take time to let everything be effortless and just release from the body. Effortless breath, effortless mind. You can do a long Shavasana, turn the volume off, and do 15 minutes if you want. Otherwise, we'll do a few minutes here, just as like a reclined meditation. When you're ready, let's go ahead and deepen the breath. We'll give ourselves a big hug of knees to chest and take a comfortable seat to conclude practicing. I'm going to take a clearing breath and 3 ohms. So breathe in and let it all out. Very good. And breathe in. Namaste. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Wonderful to practice together. Have a little bit of water. Got this stainless steel bottle by Bevo that has this tube down in it. That's it's not a plastic. It's like a rubber or something like that, so that it pours really well. This thing is amazing to avoid plastics, and even it fits well in a bicycle cage. I've been hydrating a lot with this. I'm not sponsored by this brand. Just really love this bottle, so I thought I would share it. I've got my cycling friends out there wanting to transition from plastics. I think the rubber is a silicone food grade, which prevents leaching, which is really nice. So anyhow, stay hydrated, eat good food, and be good to yourself and those around you. And hit me up in the tip jar. There's PayPal, Venmo. Some people do other methods of helping us out with cash. The more I receive in donations, the more I can produce in content. So appreciate it very much, and look forward to coming out with some more content for you soon. If you like this class, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, subscribe, share with your friends. Leave a comment. Say that, oh, the hip openings were great this week, or, oh, I'd love to focus on the spine next week, or, leave a comment. It helps to drive engagement when I have comments and likes. So appreciate all of that. Appreciate you all taking time to practice, and look forward to the next time. Peace, everyone.